annoying. I think a better second lead would have been, it was just really odd to me that, hi guys, it is a new background today because I'm in the basement, but I'm wearing kind of like one of the outfits I wore for Yeonsu's outfit, but this is kind of uncomfortable, so I might take it off. But today is the Our Beloved Summer review, now that it ended, and tomorrow I'm filming this on Sunday. Tomorrow there's nothing left for me to look forward to because it's over. But I have my notes here on my iPad. I don't want to show you because my handwriting is really ugly, but I have my review, and I'm just gonna start off by saying that overall I thought the drama, on TikTok I said I was gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10, but after careful thinking of just like some aspects that I did think they needed some improvement on, I am giving it a 9 out of 10. Still loved it. It's literally one of my comfort dramas. I would put it on like the top 10 list, maybe 10th, because I do have some dramas that I have rewatched over and over again, so they just are up there. But I really liked Our Beloved Summer. I loved the cinematography, loved how like the whole, like the tint of that whole drama was very summer, and it's winter now, right? But it just made me just like love summer, and I don't know, like miss summer. And I don't even like summer that much, but it made me miss that time. It made me miss high school, even though obviously my experience was not the same as Yeonsu and Eung's. But I don't know, there's something about the way they filmed it that made it very nostalgic. And I don't know if it's the color schemes they used, but I just really loved the cinematography. Other things that I loved were the characters. So I loved Yeonsu and Eung's character because they're not perfect. I feel like a lot of time Korean dramas try to like portray like these, like, you know, the typical like perfect female lead girl who's like working 5 part-time jobs and she's so happy all the time, you know, like that's not really realistic. But I feel like Yeonsu and Eung were very realistic in that they had their own struggles and problems, and that showed in their relationships, because that always shows in your relationship how you grew up, like your values, your morals, and that showed in their relationships, and that's where, you know, there were some problems. And I liked how they were so realistic, and also how you just had to love them. Like you couldn't hate any of them. Obviously I love Eung, but there were some aspects of his personality when they were dating that could have gotten a little, like, you know, annoying, because if he's always running away from any conflict, like how do you solve any problems if he's always running away? But yeah, obviously Yeonsu had some problems of her own in their relationship, but I just really liked how they were realistic and just lovable characters. I loved their parents, not their Eung's parents, because they're literally the sweetest people on earth, and I am hoping for like my boyfriend's parents to be like that, because they're so nice, so loving, and they're just such great people. They were one of my like favorite characters in the whole drama, more than Ji-young. Even though I love Ji-young, but it goes like Yeonsu, Eung, his parents, and then Ji-young. I think I like Sori 언니 above Ji-young, and then I forgot Eung's manager's name, but he's up there too. Anyway, but you know, like they're up there, and I just really love their characters. One thing that I think, or some things I think that needed some improvement in Our Beloved Summer was Ji-young's character, because it was just really odd to me that he was still so in love with Yeonsu when we know basically she's his first love, right? Because he kind of like, it's like a first love at first sight kind of thing at the high school ceremony. But then like he never really had any contact with her in high school, except for like when he would see her with and then they didn't meet, like, and then when the entirety of her dating he probably didn't have that much contact with her either, aside from like occasional like meeting up with and then 5 years passed where he literally didn't see her, because where would he see her? He said he didn't see her for that entirety of the time when they were broken up. So it's just very odd to me that after 5 years, like, he's still so in love with her. Like, I understand if it was like the feelings of kind of like nostalgia, like, oh, like my first love, like, you know, like, but he was like really really into her. And I don't know if it was because like I don't know, I just thought that was a little strange. And I thought the whole Chi-young's mom story was kind of rushed, because at the end of episode 15 is when his mom is like, I'm gonna die, and then they give Chi-young one episode to like reconcile with his mom, do the documentary that she wants to do, you know, like, I feel like it's kind of quick. Like, he has a lot of built up like trauma and emotions from his mom, and to like give him one episode to like figure that out, I thought that was kind of quick. Another thing that I thought they could have changed was, because I thought Chi-young, it was a little strange that Chi-young was so in love with Yeon-soo even though he didn't see her for 5 years and they really didn't have much contact before that. I think a better second lead would have been the like manager Chang Do-yul 팀장, who, because like him and Yeon-soo had some like weird chemistry in the beginning, okay? And I feel like he would have been such a better second lead than Chi-young, just because like I wasn't rooting for Chi-young at all. I thought some moments were cute, but I never once was like, oh, I want her to end up with Chi-young, because Chi-young is Eun's best friend and I wouldn't want, like, it would just get too messy. And yeah, I think Chang Do-yul 팀장 would have been a way better second lead. Also because she had like this chemistry with him in the first few episodes, and I think that would have been a little bit of a better storyline. Yeah, those are some things about Chi-young's character that I thought needed some improvement. Some improvement I thought we needed in Yeon-soo's character was, she was obviously very scared after they got back together that they're going to break up again, and in that instance, in their particular situation, I think they needed to have that talk of why we broke up and what we can do so that we can understand each other better. Because obviously Eun is like, I'm gonna wait until she's ready to tell me, which is good for him, but also your relationship, they need to speak to each other honestly about what went down. Because I mean, obviously they're married now, we know they're married, but in a normal relationship, if you broke up about something, you like, the other person kind of deserves to know why you, like, for closure at least, you know? So I really wanted, like, when Eun said, why did we break up, I really wanted her to just be honest with him and tell him the reason, because she was having a really hard time, and I definitely think he would have understood that. But also I think, obviously we know she was scared to say that, because when she called him and he was drunk, he was like, that's your reason. But he was also drunk, and I don't think he would have, if she really told him like everything, like, it was very vague on the phone call. She was like, I'm just having a hard time with my family. But I think if she really told him like everything that was going on, from like, you know, he would have understood, and it would have just been like a really like turning point for the relationship, where they go into like a deeper relationship. So I thought they really missed out on that talk. I still loved Yeon-soo's character because you do see her developing, and I think it's episode 16, she tells him like, oh, like, 나 너무 힘들어, which is like, I'm having a really hard time. No details again, but at least she's like expressing some things that are going on inside of her, which I thought was good, which I thought was some development. I just really wish they would have gone through what happened what happened and why the relationship, like, what was hard for her when she was dating Eun, and Eun could have also told her what was hard for him, because he was kind of also like dumping all these emotions on her when they met up again 5 years later, kind of like, you did all of this and this and this, and she was kind of like, whoa, I didn't know that, you know? So I feel like it would have been a fruitful conversation if they just sat down, shared with each other what was hard about their relationship and how they can improve. In college, I read this like book for my meditation class, and in that book, it was like, you should ask your significant other, how can I love you better? How can I love you so that you really feel loved? And I think that's a conversation that they could have had, just because we know Yeonsu's love language is words of affirmation. We know she keeps trying to get that reassurance from him, and he's really not at all. Like, he's more of like acts of service. And I don't know what Eun's is more like, you know, he wants to spend quality time with her, he wants to be with her a lot, you know? And I think if she kind of like was honest with him, she did start getting honest with him, but not really in the way of like, I really like when you are reassuring me of these things, you know, like, this is how I feel loved. I think that would have been a really good conversation that they could have had together. So that was one thing that I went on kind of a long tangent, but that was one thing that I thought they could have improved about Yeonsu's character. I was rewatching the clip, and one thing I also loved about Yeonsu's character was that at the end, you know, she's known for like pushing people away, but when she decides not to go to France with him, I think it's a really, really important decision she makes for herself, because you can see how much she's grown since the beginning, and how she's opening up to her team members, and how she's just really living her life for herself, not for her grandma, not for like Eun, but just really for herself. And I thought that was a really, really important moment in Yeonsu's character. But yeah, I just really had to add that. Eun's character, I think Eun's character did the most development in this whole drama, and because he is known to be like the guy that runs away, and he does, like, toward the end of the drama, he's like done running away. He's like here to like really like face his emotions, face what he's feeling with. And like at the end, when he goes to see his real dad, even though there wasn't any like conversation, I feel like that scene was so powerful, because it really was kind of like, it's okay now, like you can live your life and I'll live mine. I also really loved how Eun decides to go to France. Obviously, he asked Yeonsu to come with him, but you know, he's scared. But he does end up going by himself and really thriving and, you know, learning a lot. And I thought that was really good for his character, just because he just like does not go out of his comfort zone. And finally to see him like moving away and going out of his comfort zone, I thought was good. If there's anything I don't think there really is anything that I would improve about Eun's character, because I really did see the character development in there. Chae-eun, I think, is one of the best character, like one of the characters that I really, really would want to date, because my acts of service is my love language is acts of service, and Chae-eun is really like big on acts of service, like cooking her food or like even like holding her backpack up, you know. And I feel like I would really feel loved if I was dating someone like Chae-eun. If your love language is words of affirmation, I don't know if you would feel like fully loved. You would feel it. He doesn't really say it. Like, he took, one thing maybe that I would change about Eun is that he took literally so long to tell her he loved her. I think that's something like, he had it in him, and I think he just like couldn't get himself to say it. But I think that's one thing, like, if I were Chae-eun, I would have said it a little bit earlier. But yeah, if I like him and Hong Ban-jang, I said this in my last YouTube video, but they're very big on acts of service, and I just think like those two, I would just feel really loved if I was dating them. But some of my favorite scenes in Our Beloved Summer was obviously the montages and when they were dating, like when he brought her the lunchbox when he was holding her backpack, when they went on the trip. I thought that was really cute because she was being honest there, and he didn't really say anything. But I mean, he didn't say I love you back. But you know, I really like that, like, these first moments they had together. Those are like my favorite scenes, when they had their first together. Like, they had their first kiss, they had like their first, like, I don't know, holding hands, they had their first like college. You know, I don't know, I just like feel like they had a lot of their first experiences together, and that's why their relationship was so special to each other and to themselves. Because if you do so many first things with someone, there's no way you can forget about them. And so I think just those first moments they had together, I really, really liked. I really liked the scene at the end of the ending episode where he's eating the rice and he's just having like that conversation with his mom, and she's like, yeah, like, I knew you knew, and he was like crying and like pouring his emotions out. I thought that was also just a really heartfelt scene, and I think his parents, even though they knew that, not like saying anything about that to him and just loving him so much was their way of assuring him that he is like their son, and that he is a good person and they love him, you know. So that was also one of my favorite scenes. But yeah, my overall review is that I love this drama. One other thing I love about it is the OSTs. Literally, if you go on Melon Chart, almost all of the Our Beloved Summer OSTs are charting right now, and I just love them so much. I love 10 Centimeter Drawer, because that just really gets me in like a summery good mood. I don't know, I just really love that song. And then Christmas Tree, obviously, so good. But I love the OSTs in it. But overall, this drama I really, really loved. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I would watch again. There were some scenes that were filler, some episodes that got a little slow, so I think that's also why it's a 9 out of 10. I feel like I gave a 10 out of 10 to dramas where I could literally rewatch it so many times and not get sick of it. But there are some scenes in Our Beloved Summer that I wouldn't really rewatch. I would just skip through it. But yes, 9 out of 10, loved it. It may honestly be getting on my top 10 drama list. And yes, it's a 9 out of 10. I'll like put it here. But yes, I will be reviewing, I think next I'm gonna be reviewing Mad for Each Other, because I just finished that on Netflix. And I want more people to watch it because I really do think it is a good drama if you just get past the first few episodes. And I will be uploading my top 10 K-dramas next, so stay tuned for that. And I hope to see you next time. I hope you like this review, and have a great day.